For this episode of Let's Talk Jinx, like we do every 2 weeks, it's patch notes time. So patch 14.3 of League of Legends. Now, this will be a bit sensationalized, maybe even clickbaity, but for some people, it's that serious. Vanguard was supposed to be coming to League in patch 14.4, so they're going to do like a diagnostic check to see if you met the requirements, give you the reasons why you did or didn't, and it's the whole anti-cheat software, the kernel system. Some people are really against the idea of it. It already exists in Valorant, by the way, so they're just porting it over to League of Legends to help with cheating. But for some people, this patch or the next 2 patches will be the last patch that they play League of Legends. The last patch that League of Legends will be playable. The last patch of League of Legends existence. And yeah, that can sound a bit kind of, sensationalized, because for some of us, it's just a Wednesday. So it really depends on how you feel. But it is being pushed back a patch. They found some critical bugs in it that they have to now push it back from 14.4 to 14.5. So you actually will have this patch and another patch to be able to play League if this is something you're adamantly against. A little bit on that note, League of Legends as of February 21st will no longer be supported on Windows 7, 8, and 8.1. Man, people are Windows 7, man, that's a throwback. So if you're on any of these, still, you will not be able to play League of Legends past February 21st. Now we get to the juicy part, which is the champions. There are no changes to Jinx, which on one hand means no buffs, which she doesn't really necessarily need any, but also is pretty good because it also means no nerfs. So we're going to talk about other AD carry changes and other changes down in the bottom lane, because Jinx will have to fight those, or play with those of their support. So like Ezreal, the Q damage is being decreased and the R damage is being decreased. Go figure. Yeah, and 14.2, remember when I talked about, oh, he's not in pro play enough and stuff, so they buffed him? They didn't need to. He wasn't that weak. And so now they've looked and decided, hey, he doesn't need to be that strong. And they're essentially kind of going back on some of those. So with Jinx, if you're playing against Ezreal, you have a bit of an advantage, because on his regular Q ability that he uses to harass and farm, it's weaker. And on his ultimate, it's now going to be a bit weaker. Good job. Get Jinxed, idiot. We'll mention Karma because the reason they're getting nerfed is because they're too good as a flex option. They can be a support, they can be a mid laner, and they can be a jungler, and they don't kind of like that. They're too good of a flex option, basically. Actually, my bad. It's top, mid, and support, not jungle. They can't jungle anymore? Okay, interesting. With the newfound power because of the new items and stuff like that. So they're changing that up a little bit. Now, as a support with the items being built and stuff as well, they weren't necessarily doing a ton of damage with their poke, but it was there. So the fact that that flare, the soul flare damage is being decreased, their poke's going to be a little less. But if they're any Karma with their Salt, that damage wasn't the only thing that they were doing well as a support specifically. So if you're playing with one as Jinx, you should still be fine. You should still be very protected because a lot of the protecting abilities weren't necessarily affected. And even in the harass ability, it was affected, but the cooldown is significantly lower than you might expect it, considering it's supposed to be combined with other abilities. So it'll be fine. You're the AD carry. You're the one supposed to be doing the most damage anyways, after all. And if you're playing against the Karma, just keep in mind like the damage is being decreased, but you still want to dodge it. It's not like, oh, I can just tank this with my face. Don't do that. Pyke is getting some changes with the base armor being increased, so if you're playing as Jinx against this, it'll take slightly less damage because you do physical damage, which the armor defends. The Q damage is increased, so when he throws out his hook, basically, that has damage on it, and it's been increased, and the mana cost has been decreased, so we can kind of actually get those out more often, because we'll have a little bit more mana to throw out an extra one. The cooldown's not being decreased, mind you, but just having more mana for it means you can get an extra one out. E bonus movement speed is being increased, and the E damage, however, is being decreased. Interesting. So when he runs through somebody and he can pull it through and stun them, that damage is being decreased, but the E bonus movement speed is being increased to try and help you catch people more often. So even though it's going to be up to someone else to kill, you can catch people a bit faster with this. So as Jinx, who is one of the more immobile AD carries, be careful with this ability. It is a little bit faster, and honestly, if you have flash and you might die if you get caught, don't feel bad about flashing. That's what flash is for, is to save your life. Sucks that it's down for 5 minutes, but it'll be back in 5 minutes. So Twitch is getting an E quality of life change, so when he uses the E at the same time as the poison may expire on the enemy, they will now take damage based on the number of stacks, I should say, they had when the poison expired. So it's really more quality of life than damage. It just means when he goes to press the E, if you had like 3 stacks of it on you, right now it wouldn't kind of register that, and now it will, because it was kind of supposed to. So in that regard, you could say it's a buff, but it's kind of business as usual as you might expect it, because you might have also just expect the poison to take those stacks, and it just wasn't because it was weird. Zeri, base AD increased, R cooldown decreased, recommended items updated. So this is a paragraph as always with Zeri, so we're just going to kind of skip Zeri. Collector's damage is actually going down by 5 if that is in your build, because you like the crit lethality hybrid item. When you combine that with Heaven Scale Lee Sin, Divine Heaven Scale Lee Sin, Heaven Scale Master Yi, Heaven Scale Janna, Heaven Scale Ezreal, Heaven Scale Kai'Sa, Heaven Scale Diana, and Prestige Heaven Scale Ezreal, you have yourself a completed patch notes for patch 14.3 of League of Legends for this episode of Let's Talk Jinx. With the honorable mentions, of course, being like, say, Janna as a support player. You might see Janna in your games for at least the first couple of days, either playing with a support Janna or against. Ezreal we already talked about, but Kai'Sa you might see in your games a little bit because Kai'Sa mains might want to play the Kai'Sa skin. And then again, of course, Ezreal once again getting the Prestige skin. You're definitely going to see Ezreal in your games despite the nerfs. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next because I finna have a lot of kinks. So until this time, take care. GG, get jinxed. Thank you for watching and enjoy pizza responsibly.